Welcome to Life Hacks Beyond Convention with Dee and Sonya.
Our English language, this is completely changing topic. Our English language is so funny, isn't it? Because I wonder, does everyone know what knickers are?
Oh, probably not.
Yeah,
Underpants. Socks and underpants.
socks, underpants.
Knickers. Yeah.
And because if somebody, like back in the day when we'd say underwear, I thought, this is my interpretation of underwear, and I'm assuming this was what I grew up with. So when we'd say underwear, we meant bras, knickers, and sometimes socks would even come into the underwear category.
Mm.
So it'd just be and we never called it underwear, we called it undies. Go
Yeah.
and get your undies for the laundry basket,
Yeah.
make sure all your undies are in the laundry basket.
Mm.
And the undies in the laundry basket meant, underpants, bras, if we're old enough to have them at that point, and socks.
And what about
And
singlets?
then when I was very young, we had singlets, but I didn't like singlets. And that was really funny. And Mum didn't make me have singlets once we were a bit older. I think we always had singlets when we were little. But yeah, we would have considered that an undies.
I was still wearing singlets at high school and I was relentlessly bullied.
Well, you would be.
Yeah.
But when I moved to Ballarat, I went and bought singlets.
Now, this is the trick with singlets. Buy men's, a size larger so they've got a lower neck.
Yeah, and then they can't see them under your clothes.
Yeah.
They're long enough to go past your butt.
Exactly.
Keep your backside warm.
And they actually keep you warm. And I've got there's more fabric in it and they're half the price. Women get this little camisole with a string and, it's this long. And, and it's like $15.95 and the bloke's one is $7.95. Like, it's not fair. So I have a good stock of men's underwear, singlets that I wear in winter.
Singlets, yeah.
So.
Yeah, but it was funny just hearing you say the word knickers because it's like, we say knickers too, meaning underpants, yeah. But when one of my daughters went overseas, and she was a nanny, and she said, so she was in Ireland, and when she'd go in and say, because we call long pants like just pants. It's got like go and grab your pants. I mean, if they were jeans, we'd say jeans.
Yes.
Or if we needed to specify, you need your tracksuit pants, or you need your good pants, or you need your jeans, you do that. But if say we're just packing up, it's just going, don't forget to put all your pants in the suitcase, so just your general pants. So anyway, so she goes and the little girl had gotten wet. They were outside playing. It's like, well, you better take pants off so we can get them changed. And she's like, what? Pants? What are you talking about? So they're knickers, like what we would call knickers, they call pants.
Oh, so she thought underwear.
And then my daughter's took her a minute to work out what was going on, and then she realised, okay. So she said, so what do you call these then? So what we would call pants, they call trousers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, which of course sometimes we say trousers. No, just pants. They didn't even call them underpants. It was just pants in this family anyway. I can't say whether that's what everybody in Ireland does, but this family in Ireland, they called, their underwear was pants. And if
outerwear is trousers.
Yeah, so if she were to say anything like knickers or anything like that, they'd have no idea.
No.
What she was talking about. So, I know, isn't it interesting, our language? And sometimes I look at some of the YouTubers, I think, what would be really fun to do is comment on the ones that say they've got it, because you'll see different people. Oh, I've been to Australia. Let me tell you, these are the words that you need to know when you go to Australia. But they're not Australians saying that. And it's so funny because I listen and I say, oh, okay, is that what you learned? Because that's probably almost right, but they don't quite get the nuance.
Okay. Yeah.
It's really interesting, some of the nuances with, oh, well, you know, the word really bad language that
Mm.
I just would not say at all, starting with a C and is 4 letters.
Yes. Yes.
So, well, I was watching one and they were saying, oh, they just, because they were surprised at how much Australians swear. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought, and on the whole, they do. I
Yeah.
just happen to not be a swearer.
Mm.
But, um, but what I do know, and they're saying, yeah, they just call everyone that, you know, and you just go up and you say that C word. And I'm thinking,
I don't know who
and
you're
so
hanging out with.
that's what you need to do. And I'm thinking, well, now the F bomb
Mm.
everybody uses,
Yes, I'm
but
very bad at that one.
yeah, I rarely,
Yeah, I
maybe
know.
once
You're a
every
nice
10
lady.
years. I don't know why I don't swear. It just feels so uncouth. It feels like filth coming out my mouth. I just don't like it. Um, and and I hate it when little old ladies drop the F bomb. It's like you
I'm going
see
to
this
be that
little
little
old
old
lady,
lady.
you see this little old lady, and you think, oh, that's not very nice.
I
Anyway,
learnt it off my mother. So that's my mother was a hell of a swearer. So I had no hope.
that's it. I do think it generally, there's a lot of people in our culture that swearing is normal.
Mm.
However, not the C word. And
Yeah.
I just thought, like, this guy's out there saying, yeah, I just couldn't believe it. And I'm thinking, well, you probably were with fellas,
Mm-hmm.
is A, and probably you had a good relationship with them, maybe. I don't know, because I just think that just would not be a word that in my culture
Yeah.
you would use.
But
And
our culture, I mean, ours is different from each other because I do swear and you
mm,
don't. But young people in the bush or in more remote areas would more talk like that, and or pub talk. It would happen, I think. But once again,
mm.
on football clubs and that sort of thing,
But
it's
you wouldn't just go up to somebody, you know, that's like customer service agent or that,
oh
like that customer assistant or anything like
yeah,
that. Yeah, so it
no,
was really interesting. Anyway, just listening to this, how he's telling them, well,
yeah,
yeah, like you can actually say that C word. Like they seem to get on, pat them on the
yeah,
back. You're a C, mate. It's just like, yeah, maybe be careful where you say that.
yeah. But a lot of the culture between us and the States, as far as what's openly said, is different. I mean, everything is bleeped in the States, but also there's
Yeah,
so
well, that
many
was one of the
things.
things, isn't it? That
Yeah.
yeah, obviously, our like Australians swear more than
Mm.
Americans.
Yes. Yeah. And our
Mm.
radio stations play the words in the songs that are swear words.
Yeah, I heard
Others,
that. That
yeah, and they
surprised me.
don't. But the thing that shocked me in the 80s was I worked for an American man and he was sitting watching some TV and there was a tampon ad and he was absolutely mortified.
Mm.
Like, y- y- did they just advertise those things? Like, just couldn't believe that you would advertise things, yeah,
Mm.
that of
Mm.
personal hygiene for women.
I
So,
have to admit, it took me a long time to when we started, because when I was young, most of the shop assistants were women.
yes,
Now that's changed a lot, and that's been changed for many, many years now.
yes.
But that, so when you'd go to your places like, you know, Kmart or Target or anywhere like that, and you had to go through with your knickers, your
Mm,
bras, and tampons or anything like that. Oh man, I'd look and I'd think, I don't want to go through that checkout. That's mean. And
right.
I didn't want to put it through. So that nowadays it doesn't worry me. I got used to
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I have to admit that that took me a while to get used to having, especially teenage boys,
Oh,
putting my
yeah.
undies through. I mean, you can even go through self checkouts now if it bothered you these
Yeah.
days at most
So
of
I
those
wonder
places.
how that end of it, the purchasing end of it, is handled in the States. Or are they just, I don't know, wrapped in brown
No, I
paper
don't
or
know.
something?
I don't know. But I know that I found that a little bit embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't need other people to know what my underwear is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, doesn't worry me anymore. But
Yeah. Mm.
there was a transition for
Yes.
me in my own mind. So
Yeah.
I can understand if that, and obviously that would come from the culture I was raised in.
Mm. Yeah.
Obviously, I lived in a conservative place with,
Yeah.
conservative family and
Values.
friends. So,
Mm.
um, yeah, but I just think, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So I can understand that a man in the 80s at America would be shocked at that
Yeah.
commercial.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it was an interesting just discussing those. Yeah, because to me, the USA presents itself as all prim and proper, but then you see the news reports and you go, no, you're not. You're awful. Do you know what I mean? So stop banging on about, oh, we don't swear or we don't do this. Fix the other parts of your life up. So just, yeah. This person in
Completely
particular
different
was,
culture, isn't it? Just
yeah,
completely
this,
different.
yeah, because this person's beliefs and behaviors were the other end of the spectrum from being shy about tampons, but couldn't handle it. They were on the TV. So it's almost
Mm.
like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and even now, the differences, though, like when I did go overseas, everybody loved Australians. Like that was one of the things when I went through different places as an Australian,
Yep.
everybody was happy to be really friendly to you. So that was nice.
I've heard that before, and I just think
But not
it's because
always for
we're
the
nice.
Americans. Yeah, that's because we're nice.
We might,
Because we got that horrible brash accent.
yeah.
Can we round our vowels
Oh.
better?
I've had to get used to listening to my voice and going, oh, you sound like a bogan
Yeah,
over the
accent
years.
is much harsher than some of the other accents, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it sure is. Yes. And yet, when I went to
Yeah.
Western Australia, they thought I was a pom because I said dance instead of dance and
Oh, yeah.
like that.
Tomato instead of tomato.
Yeah. Mm.
When I moved here, it was the funniest thing. I went to um, night school, so I go along to my class, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing because the teacher gets up and he started talking about these graphs. And to start with, I didn't even know what he was talking about. And I just started laughing. It's like, there we are, everybody quiet listening to the teacher. And it's like this snorkel noise. And I thought, oh, be quiet, Sonya. And I thought, I need to listen again because I can't believe I just heard it. And then, but everybody here says graph, they say photograph.
Okay.
Whereas I've always said graph and
Mm.
photograph. So it's a much longer sound, obviously,
Yeah.
from our rural South Australian.
Closer to a drawl,
And one
almost.
of the others, yeah. And so one of the others, there's a street name. So when I was working for this lady, and we had to go to Ripon Street. Now I can say Ripon Street, but back in the time, apparently I was saying I can't quite remember what my accent was, but because it's spelled Ripon,
Yeah.
or maybe only one P, Ripon. So I would say Ripon Street.
Yep.
And she
Mm.
said, for goodness sake, Sonia, she said, it's like ripping a bit of paper. We're going to Ripon Street.
Oh dear.
So I've kind of learned to go with, the
Yeah.
sounds that are around me.
Yeah.
I can't say Mao. That one
No.
irritates me beyond belief, but a lot of people here say the Mao, whereas to me it's just a mole. Because we don't say bow, we say ball. We say
Yeah.
wall, we don't say wow.
Yes.
And bow, meow, wow, bow. We say
Yeah.
wall, ball, mall.
Yeah. And there's other different things with the states as well, because we've like got different words for swimsuits. We've got different words for lunch meat. I'll say, Fritz or polony or below. Oh, I don't know.
They
Yeah.
don't even know what Fritz is
And it
here.
was,
Never mind, have Fritz.
yeah. And then have you come across situations where people add a word to something? So it's, oh, this is happening down the street, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Or, but
Mm,
there's, I
mm.
can't remember, I think it's Western Australia, they say A, and Northern Territory they say but. But if you get people that are close to the border or sort of in the mix, they'll say a but. So I mean, it was just like, what's going on? So it's like, yeah, no, George, came down the street with us the other day, eh, but. So it has no meaning at all.
So no wonder non-Australians don't understand what we're saying. Sometimes Australians don't know what we're saying.
Exactly that. And then with the pronunciation, I got used to the Western Australian pronunciation of things like Mandurah and places like that. I came back here and I went through Malala. I've got to think about it. But I said, oh, Malala. And the family looked at me and went, no, it's Malala. That's where you put the inflection.
Yeah.
Different too. And then,
yeah. No wonder people find it hard. There's just, well, and so much of our slang really is just, I don't know, second nature for us. We know what we're talking about, don't we?
Yeah. And it's also, I guess, geographic, like flat out like a lizard drinking. Well, other countries probably don't have the volume of lizards in the country that have to drink flat out because there's no, so how the
well, mate, just be careful. I saw a Joe Blake on the road the other day.
Yes. Oh, Cockney rhyming lang, that came from. So that came out of Cornwall.
Yeah, and so people would say, what? Well, for those who don't know, it's a snake.
Yes, yeah. And your china plate is your mate, which is your wife or husband. Yeah, a lot of that. I don't think that happens as much. It happens still further out in the country, but I don't think it happens much in the city anymore. So,
mate.
Yeah, or just any of the Cockney rhyming stuff.
Oh, no, people don't really hear. I've noticed they don't use it as much. I don't hear it as much, but I still say dead horse.
Yeah.
Get out the dead horse.
I use the term mate as in g'day mate or hello or thanks mate when I'm leaving. And a couple of people in the city have sort of looked at me strangely. But then see, if I use it up here in the bush, it's normal. Yeah. So hit the subscribe button below if you want to follow life hacks beyond convention.